Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. BTM here, bringing you match number 50. Can you believe that? Match number 50 in my Age of Empires 3 series. We have a 1v1 on the map Rockies. I will be playing as a Dutch, facing against a Spanish. My first thought initially starting the game was he's going to fast fortress, so I'm not quite sure what I am going to do about that. But all around, this is going to be a great game. It's going to be an exciting game. In the last game that I got a lot of really positive feedback to, the game went into the industrial age, and there was a lot of later game kind of conflict going on. There's a lot of that in this game as well. So if you're interested in seeing kind of the game get a little bit more developed beyond the initial colonial age mass of units, please stick around and watch. Or, like I said, just skip to the end. It doesn't hurt my feelings. My job is just to give this to you to enjoy however you can. Enjoy it. So if that means only watching the last 10 minutes or so, or the last 5 or whatever, feel free. Although I might cry myself to sleep. I hope you're guilt tripped now. I have done a lot of work on the channel, by the way, but I don't want to touch on it in this video. I will touch on it at a later date, but anyway, I'll let you guys know about that in a later video, as I said. So, right to begin off the game, we are going to be aging with 15 villagers. We have enough gold for our initial 12, and actually this is something where I've learned and evolved a little bit with Dutch. I'm actually going to have enough gold so I can age with 16. I noticed that there was a little bit of a period of delay, and I'm actually going to end up, while preparing to age, adjusting slightly in game with the amount of villagers I age. Remember, strategies aren't like hard rules or like general guidelines. Actually, a hard rule is you always send the 3 villager card first in the first age, but generally they're like a guideline. And I knew that with the Dutch, just because of the way like the gathering rates or something worked. It was really strange, but I had a little bit of an extra time period, and I realized that actually right now in game while playing, I'm like, well, I'm going to have, it's going to take me more time to get the 800 food, and I'm going to need to make one more villager while aging. So that's what's going on there. Meanwhile, in the valley of the Rockies, I have my explorer camping on the treasure that's like 100-something wood, which is a fabulous treasure. And I really thought he was going to fast fortress, but I looked at his deck, and he did not have a fast fortress deck. So I'm going to go with my usual deck. But entering the game, I was kind of really excited to see how the Dutch would fare against fast fortress. But he ends up not necessarily fast fortressing. It's this really interesting thing. I ended up turtling and booming at the top corner of the map and whatever. As you saw there, I put 3 on gold to make sure I could gather enough gold to make one more villager. That'll bring my total, I think, up to either 15 or 16 when I age. And here I'm going to shoot another cougar, and I'm actually going to stay close and melee it, and that's just because I want to keep an eye on that treasure. However, if I was really wanting to keep an eye on the treasure, I could have done a better job, and I could have probably been closer or on the side relative to his town center, where his explorer is probably more likely to come from. But regardless, I do grab the 110 treasure, which is fabulous because remember, as I'm aging to the colonial age, I'm going to be looking to get my first bank up, and that's going to make my life a lot easier. And he runs by with 4 war dogs. Who has 4 war dogs at this point in the game? And he just starts biting my explorer and trying to kill it. And I gotta say, this guy was actually a lot better player than his rank was, and he trolled me pretty hard this game. This was just one area. Now, unfortunately, the war dogs were walking back to my town center, and I really did not want to have to respect them in terms of rushing. I didn't want them to like start attacking villagers and stuff, so I ended up actually having to walk my explorer away and letting him die. That's right. And I was so pissed off at this point. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, this is so stupid. Who actually makes 4 war dogs in the beginning of the game? Now, meanwhile, in terms of general strategy, I am working towards getting my first bank. Because he's Spain and he's not fast fortressing, and I'm not really that nervous about his rush, though, especially if he's already invested, what, almost 200 food in war dogs. I'm going to probably send the bank wagon as my first card in the colonial age. That's my plan. As you notice, when you get to the second, or as you probably know, when you get to the second age, you have the ability to revive your explorer on the map because he gains a hit point bonus each time you age. So my plan is he'll get the hit points bonus from aging. I'll send my envoy over to pick him up, and then we'll be happy and cheery. Now, if you notice there, I shift clicked my villagers to work on the bank and then go to that mine. But it's so broke. Watch this. Even though they're clearly shift clicked, right, and I had done that, after that bank is done being built, they're not going to go. See, they're going to walk around, be idle, do nothing. I happened to be expecting it because I was wondering if the thing was going to be broke or not. It was, but frustrating. It made me mad. As you can see here, I probably cut it a little bit too close. I'm going to get that first villager in the colonial age a little bit later than I should. Oh, no. Interesting. I chose 700 wood. I mean, I chose 700 wood, guys. I clearly made the strategic and smarter choice. Now, we talked about defensive building placement in the last video, and we are going to do that in this video. I'm trying to build that stupid house, and we're going to start getting it going now. I didn't do it with my initial first house, and I probably should have. I just threw it up right by my town center, which probably wasn't the greatest decision on the planet, but you live and you learn. And that's actually going to come back to bite me in the rear end. Red actually gets some pretty decent rating on me, unfortunately for me. Now, at this point, it's kind of a game of who's going to do what. I sent the 700 wood because I respect him, and I want to make sure I can get 2 more barracks up. Not 2 more barracks, another barracks up, and a market, and some necessary buildings, and housing, and then have enough wood left over to be well on my way to another bank, so I can start massing skirms. That's why I sent the 700 wood relative to the bank wagon, even though the bank wagon is technically the more important card, and I understand why now watching this back. If you look, I'm collecting the 700 wood, but even without the 700 wood, I was able to get my barracks and 2 houses up, and I probably would have been able to get up a market and another house if I really was determined. So it was kind of unnecessary for me to bother sending the 700 wood, because I don't really have a critical need for the 700 wood, whereas other civilizations do have a critical need for the 700 wood. So maybe the bank wagon would have been a better choice, because as you can see here, I'm literally now sitting on a 700 wood surplus, and I don't really need it. So that was a rookie mistake on my part in terms of not making a wise choice in-game, just in terms of efficiency. So I'm kind of trying to get around that, but we'll see. As you can see here, though, I'm still pumping out. Oh man, those stupid war dogs. I'm pumping out villagers, though. Fortunately, now I'm not even gonna bother to walk them all the way back to my town center. All he wanted to do was distract me and waste my time. I know that. I'm not gonna let him distract me and waste more of my time. You know what I mean? It's just kind of one of those things where I know what's going on, so I'm not gonna let it happen. But as you can see here, I'm only able to make another 1 or 2 skirmishers, which is actually a huge problem. If I had actually built a bank, or sent the bank wagon instead of 700 wood, I would have had another bank already up. I would have been able to make more skirmishers. My town wouldn't be quite so pitiful, which is going to kind of come back to bite me. But I was really feeling overconfident actually initially playing this. I was kind of like, well, I got this game, you know, because I'm generally way better than everybody in my rank, you know. So it's kind of like, well, he's my rank, therefore he must be an easy to beat player, which is a really bad logic, because there's players like me out there who are definitely better players than they are ranked. That is for sure. Or maybe it was just a civilization mismatch. Dutch tends to be a little bit slower and more economic-y and boomy, and Spain doesn't. So maybe it was an actual civilization mismatch, but who knows. As you can see here, I'm getting my second barracks up, and considering that I sent 700 wood specifically for the joy and pleasure of getting my second barracks up, it certainly took me a while. I have an idle villager there, but I finally noticed. As you can see, though, buying all the Discovery Age market upgrades. Oh yeah. And I really want to raid him, but I really have no means of facilitating that, unfortunately, at this moment. And as you can see, I'm still relatively isolated. I did some villagers up my trading post or my trade route to get the herd in the valley towards my town center, but I'll just spoil it here. That's not something I actually am capable of doing. I actually get my villagers there raided really, really hard. I end up losing a lot of villagers, and that's despite the fact that I'm sending 8 pikemen now as my 3rd card in the colonial, or 2nd card in the colonial. 3rd card in the colonial. I'm sending 8 pikemen, and that's specifically because I'm worried about Hussar, but it's going to do me no good. And there are those stupid war dogs again. I mean, this guy was pissing me off with his stupid war dogs. I mean, who uses them? Well, apparently more people should, right? But, oh my goodness. And as I walk here, I see, oh, he's got a barracks and a stable and an outpost there, and he more or less now has control of the valley. I'm not really going to be able to mass enough units initially to take it out, but I'm going to try, and that's kind of unfortunate, because now my pikemen, you know, seeing that he's a stable up, and therefore likely has Hussar in the field, now my pikemen are walking away from my town center and away from my villagers. As you can see here, though, I do want to kind of protect my villagers, so I'm going to start to build a outpost out by that herd, but it's too late. I already have villagers being killed. I think I had like 25 or 26, and now I have 23 and 22, and I'm like, well, I'm massing all these units over there, but I'm probably going to be too timid to try to take that central place, even though I probably could conquer it. And I'm going to lose this villager, I'm going to lose that outpost tower, and I'm going to lose that villager, and it was just a disaster all around. It was just unmitigated. I made a really stupid error. I really kind of wanted to take the tempo, so I marched across the map. Unfortunately for him, he had a huge position advantage just in terms of the distance away from me. It cuts me off from some valuable resources, and it's going to be kind of difficult for me to take over. So I'm actually going to end up deciding to pull back here. And from this point on, I'm pretty much just going to turtle because I felt like he was in charge. And I mean, he definitely was in charge, but you know what I mean? He took control of that, and there was really not that much I can do. I'm looking around trying to figure out what I want to do, and there wasn't a huge ton that I felt like I could do. So we're going to pull back on military. I'm trying to find room for a mill, by the way. Notice how bad my food production is. And my hope is just to not lose a game at this point. I was freaking out. I thought, oh my goodness, he's doing a good job. Now, I am using isolated wall units here, as you can see, to kind of add as little sight lines to increase my line of sight. That way, he can't just sneak up on me again. But it's not really going to do much besides let me know. And there he is in my town center, killing my skirmishers, and he gets like 3 or 4, maybe even 5 or 6 killed. It's ridiculous. I mean, 5 Hussar. Normally I'm the one running around with 5 Hussar causing everybody nightmares, but he was just causing me headaches and pain and sorrow all over, doing a pretty good job, unfortunately, for me. And it's really what kind of dragged this game on, just my vulnerability to being raiding, which is something as a Dutch you try to prevent, but I didn't do a great job, that's for sure. As you can see here, I am building more little wall outposts, trying to just get a line of sight and establish. I don't want red to appear and then me to notice it too late in my town. I'm going to eventually start walling even more than turtling, just because I felt like he was everywhere. He got the psychological advantage on me, something that we kind of talk about that's never really clearly defined. And then as you notice there, I never even got the Coeur de Bois treasure, despite the fact that I spent a ton of time trying to do it. Now you might be wondering why those villagers were idle. I was wondering if I should have them wait to build a mill, but the wood was not coming that quickly, and I decided I would rather put that wood into an outpost there by my villagers that are gathering my wood and my coin, because that's a vital part of my economy. If I get cut off from there, I lose the game. I don't need the center area, the resources there to survive. Dutch are pretty turtle efficient. I can sit in my base with my farms. It's not the end of the world. I need coin more anyway. Puts me at a disadvantage, yes, but I will survive. So losing those woods next to me, though, that would be the death of me. So it was very, very vital to me that I grabbed those woods and I stayed capable, I guess, of playing. I am going to keep shifting more people on to wood. I'm running out of wood because now I'm having to switch to mills and build outposts and wall and do a bunch of disgusting defensive stuff. And I probably should have made some Hussar at this point if I wanted to start getting some counter raiding going, but I didn't think of it actually yet, which is really stupid. But I like to say, not a good choice on my part. And I'm going to build that house again a little bit farther away from my town center in an attempt to increase the line of sight. And at this point, he reaches the fortress age. I am still in the colonial age pretty solidly. No food to go anywhere. And I am hyperventilating while playing. I was just like, well, this is over. This is as awful can be. I need to get Hussar up. I know that he's going to have Lancers. I can't make Routers, I believe I was told they're called, yet because I'm in the stupid age that I'm still in. Stupid Hussar set me back. Not access to hunts. No access to hunts. It was just like, at this point I was kind of like, well, I lost, but I don't know what I should have done besides not let my villagers get raided. Actually, that's what I should have done. So, I answered my own question. I'm that good. Just kidding. But as you can see here, I'm going to continue walling off over there. I'm eventually going to end up walling a little bit of the central area off as well. And I'm making more Hussar, just because if he gets a falconet, I need to have a way to kill a cannon. But really, if he marched into my base with Lancers at this point, I'd be pretty dead. So we're very lucky that he hasn't, but we got to work on getting to that third age as fast as possible. We have like, what, 21 villagers on wood? No, we only have 12 villagers on wood. But at the same time, it still doesn't do me anything amazing. As you can see, I'm moving my pikemen up, though. And my goal is just to scare him if he does start poking around. No sane person is going to run their cav into a town that has pikemen by the only entrance open. So I kind of felt like that was going to be a smart decision. As you can see here, again, want to build a farm, no wood. Ugh, so frustrating. Up to 35 villagers though, but I don't even have my banks maxed out. So all around I'm playing poorly. By the way, let me actually address that. In terms of cards I'm missing, I'm missing the Dutch Church card, which is an excellent card for the Dutch. It adds to the bank order. I definitely should have it. Possibly advance Arsenal, although I'm not sure what benefit from that I really want in this game. I do actually use my Arsenal later on, though, so stay tuned. But both of those cards are cards I probably should look at. A lot of people said use the Dutch Church card, and the people who said that were completely right. I still don't have it in my deck at this point, but that's an excellent, excellent important card. Let me actually discuss that card. The downside to that card is it makes your villagers march slower, or your villagers, your units march slower, which is actually kind of a bummer to me and something that would really annoy me. But it's not the end of the world, I guess. But you get 2 banks in exchange for making all your men overall move slower, which is depressing, but I guess it's not the end of the world, and you can work around it. As you can see here, he comes in with some Hussar, seeing some pikemen. Even though it's only 8, it's enough to scare him away, and that's really all we need to do. But even more importantly than that, we need to age, or we're going to be in some serious, serious trouble. Oh my goodness, he did not put much pressure on me, and I think that was because I actually had a better score than him this entire game. Even though militarily I felt I was woefully inadequate, all he could see was my score and knew that I was in my base doing pretty well. So I kind of had a little bit of a psychological defense in my defense. That was a weird sentence I think you'll ever hear in your life, guys. But from his perspective, all he could see was that I was doing really good score-wise and that I was locked in my base. Now, as you can see here, I wanted to sneak out of my base to go mess with him, but kind of parked some men outside there. But it's okay, I got a back door, so I'm going to sneak out the back door with my Hussar and start looking around. And I think at this point I really need to begin investigating, at least seriously, getting to the fortress age. And one of my problems as a player is I don't like aging superfluously, and if I had just stopped making military units to get to the fortress age, I felt it would have weakened me more than it would have strengthened me. So that's why I was staying behind in age relatively, but at the same time, like, I didn't know what else to do. So building another barracks, I'll bring my total up to 3rd, because there's really no point for me to go to the fortress age until I can actually capitalize. And the way I capitalize on it is unit improvements and upgrades. Yeah, well, economic upgrades from my home city cards. And I can't really use either of those at the moment. So right now, I felt it was much wiser to work on my army rather than aging needlessly to the fortress age. However, we're going to have to look at aging very, very soon. And now I'm sending my bank build limit card increasers. However, this is something interesting I thought about or noticed here. Was I have 700 gold in my deck, but I never use it. And because I'm Dutch and I really don't need wood or gold, I should probably take that out and replace the church card with that card instead. And as you can see here, my Hussar are going to get caught up by his veteran Hussar, and it sucks. Stupid trees. It's just like, really? He gets 1 hit off me, luckily, and then all my Hussars go slower. So then I have to sacrifice a Hussar to slow me down. And he has a fort in the center of the valley. Now I'm completely isolated in my little part of the map. And he's just gathering with impunity all over the map. And there's literally nothing I can do about it. So I'm just kind of at this point like, well, I'm screwed. Like, I was not a happy camper at this point, but I wasn't a happy camper most of this game. And I've told you that 4 or 5 times already, so I probably don't need to comment on that again. As you can see here, though, I'm finally trying to get to the next age, but then I decided to build another bank instead because that's more important. Even though I already have a surplus of coins, so probably trying to age quicker would have been a wiser choice. But lo and behold, I need room for a mill, and there's no room for a mill on my freaking town. So frustrating. I was just like grande frustrated this entire match. The trading post down the middle, I never even got a trading post on it. Like, how stupid is that, right? And I'm trying to age, and I'm not aged. And he catches my Hussar, mainly just because I got distracted trying to deal with my economy. And at this point, things are just going like, really, I'm losing about 2,000, 3,000 units worth of resources here. Just due to stupidness with no perceptible gain. Actually, there is one perceptible gain. Even though I'm losing those units, I'm distracting him. And that's pretty important, actually, in the long run of things. It is kind of giving him something to worry about and look at and think about while I'm covering my slow ascension to the next age, which obviously should have happened. But again, I still can't build a mill anywhere, so I'm going to end up building one right there. Doesn't that suck? I know, I'm a pessimist. And then he's even built a church in the middle. Like, who builds a church in their forward base? Well, actually, Spain does. But I didn't see the missionaries card in his deck, which makes the missionaries boost attack as well. So I find it interesting that he does have a church built there. But I do need to get to the Fortress Age right now, and I need to buy my upgrades that are relevant. And I'm actually not in as much trouble as you think, though, and here's why. First off, resource-wise, I'm doing pretty fabulously. Second off, I can build an arsenal, which I will do after I keep making villagers. But I can build an arsenal. I can get myself a improvement to my skirmishers, making them do 3 times the damage rather than 2 times the damage against heavy infantry. But most importantly, I can build rooters, and I'm really scared that I'm saying that wrong, but I believe they're called rooters, and they're simply just the greatest anti-cav in the world. He's definitely, by this point, starting to mass lancers at the very least, and I'm now going to be starting to mass my anti-cav, and that's actually going to be my first card in the 3rd age, my 9 rooters, which is an amazing shipment because rooters only cost 1 population a head, which is simply fabulous. And I'm going to start massing petards, and then I'm going to distract him with some hussar later on. I'm going to run them around. I'm going to distract him. I'm going to walk up to his base with probably around 7 or 8 hussars, and that fort is going to burn. And as you can see here, I want the counter something rifling, which will of course upgrade my unit's attack bonus from 2 to 3. I still need 200 wood, and I can buy it, and that was actually a really key point in the game. I'm actually also going to buy my ranged infantry, not range infantry, my ranged cavalry upgrade from the arsenal as well. And as you notice here, I'm hotkeying them to prepare myself. Unfortunately, I was only able to make 3 petards in the first batch, but we're going to wait until we have an appropriate amount to actually go forward. I do kind of check the hit points of the fort and my petards, and I end up sending 1 pikeman forward just so I can know exactly how much I'll need to do. And as I can see here, his fort's got 800, so I'm going to need probably 3 more just to be safe, which I will get. So that fort is not going to be long with this world. Also, I'm still making rooters, and oh my goodness, I am mad at this point. I am not going to be shown up, and oh my man, I wonder what he was thinking actually. That's something that's really interesting. I mean, he was kind of clearly scared of me, but at the same time, I didn't feel like I was worth being that scary. I felt like it was one of those things where if he had bothered to push in, he would have actually been surprised by how weak I was, and my score was not really indicative of my true strength in this situation. I think, oh, pardon me guys, morning burps. I think that's kind of one of those situations where you need to be a little bit more aggressive as a scouting person in order to kind of take advantage and really understand what's going on in the game. So if he had scouted me out and seen that I had mostly and only skirmishers, then he probably could have beaten me straight up, but maybe not. I don't know. I actually ended up not even bothering to send the feint. I'm just marching straight up with the petards. He's marching in with his units trying to stop me, but it's too late because Fort San Francisco is now Fort No More, and I am feeling pretty happy about that, that's for sure. Not to mention that we now have a pretty good mass of rooters, and even he acknowledges that, okay, alright, you did a pretty decent job there, kid. And I'm like, yeah, I know. And I have 50 villagers. My economy is as maxed out as my economy can be. And at this point, it's time to actually get 150 military units on the field and start yielding our massive advantage we have. As you can see, I'm already marching forward. But he's in the industrial age, which is just like, really? So you sat and didn't attack me all Fortress age. You just sat back and didn't attack me. And now you're in the industrial age, which kind of sucks because now he's really going to buy some major upgrades. But on the bright side, my skirmishers and my rooters have the upgrades from the arsenal, so they're going to actually stack up fairly well against his units. As you can see here, in comes some hussar, so back the skirmishers go, forward come the rooters, and I'm just going to kind of run back to my base and sit in my base some more and keep massing rooters because rooters are awesome. Unfortunately, though, it's kind of like this I can't kill you, you can't kill me, now what kind of scenario. I probably could have kept, and I do keep, no, I just push forward. I said I probably could have kept hitting and running there, but at this point I'm like, I can win this, even if our score's better or he's in the 2nd age. I mean, he just wasted 3 grand resources on aging, so I'm like, this is not the end of the world. So down come those lancers, and I'm going to just start micromanaging my units. I'm actually going to march my skirmishers back, considering that all I see from him there is hussar. I'm going to actually leave those rooters out to dry, but what I'm going to try to do is I'm actually going to try to get those skirmishers up on the bluff right above them here just to get some cover fire going down. and I'm gonna add any more rooters I make to the fight. Unfortunately, it looks like I'm gonna lose the mass of rooters I have, but he attacked me with all his cav, which he obviously had a humongous and obscene amount of, and he let it all die. And I don't get this. If he had backed up or let something else kill my rooters and then run into my town with the cav, he would have won. Even fighting my rooters head up with his cav, he still almost won the fight. Granted, now it's like 10, 15 cav versus a bajillion skirmishers and a few rooters, but oh my goodness, he should have won that. But now, unfortunately for him, he's lost a lot more units than I think irreplaceable units relative to me, because my economy is fully ready to go, and I'm just, I think, in a better spot overall. But I don't know, man. I think that was a bad choice by him there, letting me engage those Hussar and Lancers. If he hadn't, or he had engaged me with something else, I would be golden now, because I already have 50 villagers. I'm going to have my last bank up. All I'm going to do is I'm going to make another 100 or so men, or if not even 150, come back. I'm going to do the exact same thing one more time, so that really sucks. But as you can see here, I'm going to work to get a plantation up and kind of take villagers off wood. There's really no point now with maxed out villager population and now maxed out housing for me to have so many villagers on wood. So we're going to really just work on getting some more stables, using our existing stockpile of wood, leaving a little bit for a rainy day fund, and focusing on aging to the industrial age while preparing to just make an economy that is solely focused around getting units out on the field. So that's what's going on here. As you can see here, my rooter population is recovering that quite nicely. And one second. I actually still had the score advantage, which was something I'm kind of surprised. Sorry about that. I had to lean in there to look at it because it's kind of small on my screen when I'm narrating. And I really did not want to kind of keep talking when my face was really, really close to the microphone. It would have sounded weird. And we actually saw some Lancers run by there if you looked at my Explorer. So he's got something afoot, but that's okay because I have 30 rooters just like that already on the field. And I'm only going to get more, not to mention a million skirmishers. And we're going to probably upgrade them somewhat soon. So he's in a bad way whether he realizes or not. We're going to be able to push really, really convincingly, really, really surprisingly. Now, the only thing that would have made this better would have been having that church wagon or that church card from the bank. At that point, our economy would have been really, really good. We would have had 2 more banks rather than 8 banks total rather than 6. That would have been a noble, noble goal. But at this point, I'm going to begin to push forward again. I'm the kind of person, when I feel like I got advantage, I'm a very much a blood in the water kind of player. I do not like sitting and waiting. I do not like being taken advantage of. I don't do actually as well, I think, when I am taking advantage. I do much better when I'm dictating the pace of the game, and that's what I like to do. And that's what I'm going to do to him here, because now the pace is mine. As you can see here, though, in the industrial age, got more rooters on the field. I really hope I'm saying them right. If I'm saying them wrong, I'm going to feel really stupid. And I can't afford to upgrade them. That's one of the things where it's like, well, I upgraded to the industrial age, and I got absolutely nothing to show for it. But at least I'm finally going to grab that trading post. And I am going to build some mortars. I'm not going to build some mortars, but I am just going to go for the kill at this point. I'm like, you know what? 130 villager population. Let's smash him. We can kill his cav pretty easily. We're going to eat his veteran skirmishers or whatever alive with our skirmishers, which have a 3x bonus that we upgraded. So I'm kind of like, you know what, let's just go for this. This is a ton of units here to have on the field. As you notice, I have them separately hotkeyed, that way I can alternate and protect my units really well. And I'm just running rooters around. Their job there is really just to protect my infantry from his cav, his lancers, and his hussar if they choose to show up, which they will very, very soon. But as you can see here, in come his units, so I'm going to march my rooters away. And I'm going to march my skirmishers up to there, and in comes his cav from the other side. So I'm going to march my rooters there, and I'm actually going to start shift-clicking, attacking with my rooters. And I just shift-click them very soon. Let's see. I think I started doing it soon. I know I did. Oh, come on. I know I did it in-game. Let's see. At some point, I'm going to start doing that. I guess right now I just worded. There we go. Watch. Shift click, shift click, shift click, shift click. That way they're just going to start picking them off one by one, concentrated fire. My skirmishers here have just absolutely decimated his infantry. Heavy infantry versus skirmishers with a 3x bonus. And it really, we resoundingly here defeated him. And he's going to choose to resign because there was nothing he could do. And I sat on pins and needles in that one, but we managed to win at the end by just turtling up, really focusing on our economy and being really kind of a stingy defense, I guess, or at least a stingy economic defense. You know, he saw our score; it was always on par with his. Normally, you know, when somebody turtles, their score really falls, and it's really indicative of where they're at. But my score was always keeping up with his, despite the fact that I didn't have the best deck, and I stayed in the colonial age forever, and I turtled. We managed to pull it off, and that was because we're Dutch. So all around, I hope you guys enjoyed seeing a little bit of a later gameplay strategy. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. I don't know what tomorrow's game is going to be like because I haven't recorded yet. I doubt it will be as late, but who knows. Thank you guys so much for watching, and it was pretty cool checking out the post game here. I actually led him in resources by a very small amount, but I had the most military units and I had the most units killed, which made me feel pretty good about myself. I definitely like kind of being good on the military side of things, and we definitely lost less units than him, actually, by one, which was all that mattered, right? So that was really good too, just to feel like I did a better job protecting my military, despite the fact that I lost a lot of people in the initial rating. So all around, it was a huge fun match to begin with, and uploads will continue as normal starting from now on. We just took a day off actually to work on an entrance video, which I'm still working on, to get thumbnails up. The art was done by CrosssideGamer. He did a simply fabulous job for me, so show him some love. I'm gonna put his link in the description, but he did all the artwork for my channel and he did a fabulous job. So that's kind of what we've been doing. We've been working on increasing our channel, making it more usable for you guys, but we'll discuss that in a later video. I just wanted to touch on that briefly. But before I go, today's quote of the day from Sun Tzu in The Art of War is, "When it was to their advantage, they made a forward move. When otherwise, they stopped still." Sun Tzu, The Art of War.